What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Mana, the native token to the Decentraland ecosystem. We're talking about that at the request of Mr. Nato Bell. Nato, my friend, we're talking about this for you. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We're at 28.5 cents right now. Some very low prices, right? This is on Coinbase. It looks like the lowest prices we've ever seen in its history, but that's not the case, actually, right? This is Kraken. It does have the all-time history, or at least the most history that we have available, to my knowledge, right? Going back as early as 2017 here. I remember when Mana first came out, man. I remember I had a friend, a couple friends. Shout out to. I'm not going to say their names, but shout out to the homies. You know who you are if you're watching this, who were talking about Mana down here, man. They sold it early. But I think that's still an impressive amount, right? I'm not here to talk about other people's experiences, man. I'm here to talk about where I think the price is going to go in my own opinions, right? My experience with Mana is I bought it back here and I never sold, and well, here we are now. So that's I've added more since then, but maybe thinking about adding more now. I do believe that we're going to move up from here. I do believe that if we're looking at this for what it is, this is a horizontal channel that we're in, right? It's some kind of consolidation accumulation zone, and we are undeniably at the bottom of it. There's nowhere to go but up. If we were to move down, this would be devastating. This would be the death of Mana, and it'd be very bad. Like, truthfully, no denying that at all. But finding support here time and time again at the previous all-time highs, right? It's a good thing, but I would say it wouldn't be a good thing if we came up and we came to find support again. 3 times is like the maximum. The more the worse, right? You want just once, maybe twice. 3 times is pushing it, but you don't really get a 4th opportunity to bounce. So, and I genuinely do believe if we were to go below this low, it would be not just the death of this cycle, but probably the death for Mana as a whole. And I don't see that happening. I really do think if you look at Mana for what it's worth on a monthly basis, it hasn't existed the longest in crypto, but since 2017, more than most cryptos for sure. And it's more bullish. This is the more bullish chart than most cryptos that came about in this time have, right? It's a very, very bullish chart. Significantly higher lows, still above the prior all-time highs, right? So that's a nice look in itself. It's just been boring. It's been very boring. And there's a silver lining, or at least a hint of hopium. I can give you a hit of hopium right now, right? I got some hopium, some quality A-grade stuff I'm about to give you, right? You might want to sit down. It's gonna be wicked dope, bro. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, I'm just having fun there. Okay, please don't click away or give me a thumbs down just for that. I'm just having fun there, guys. Okay, let's look at Mana compared to Bitcoin, BTC, USD, and I'll get you that hopium, bro. I promise you. I'm not messing with you. I got it, man. I'm holding it for you. Just not here, not in public. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna drop the charade. This is Bitcoin. This right here, and this is Bitcoin just through Mana's existence, right? It doesn't go beyond Mana's existence because that's not what the chart has to offer. So if we look at Bitcoin for what it's worth, I'm going to try and squeeze Mana down here so we can look at Bitcoin a little bit more specifically. Bitcoin started its last bull cycle here, ended it here. Its all-time high came in here, but I would say this was its bull cycle, right there, right? Just like it started its bull cycle here, right? It hasn't ended it, but it started it here, okay? I'm going to put a vertical line there, actually. Put a vertical line there. Can I do that? There we go. Vertical line started here. Boom. Put another vertical line here. Dang it, I'm going to delete those. I'm going to redo that now. Right there. The last cycle start and the current cycle start. What do you notice about both of them, right? Comparing Bitcoin to Mana. Automatically you can see Mana's bull cycle did not start at the same time as Bitcoin's bull cycle. In fact, Mana did continue to make lower lows as Bitcoin continued to make higher lows, significantly higher lows, right? The low here was back down at above 3,000, but right around like 33, 3,100. I forget what it was, but I think it was 3,100 at the true low. And its low here, its higher low was all the way up more than double that, right? Here you were forming lower lows still, okay? In the same amount of time, literally in the same amount of time. By the time Bitcoin had broken out to new all-time highs, you were still below your prior all-time highs, okay? Bitcoin's at new all-time highs, you're still below your all-time highs now. You started your bull market. Mana certainly has not started its bull market yet, right? You're finding lower lows, Bitcoin's finding higher lows. Does it all sound familiar, okay? When did Mana start moving up? Mana had its low here, right? I would say, you know what? Let's go a step further. When did it break above its all-time high? Right here. Okay, because it started moving up here, but things started getting exciting around here. So let's go when it broke above its all-time high. It would have been this month here. Okay. When did Mana break above its all-time high? Well, it's yet to do that. But if we were to compare it to the last cycle, okay, Mana didn't break above its all-time high until, if we look at the low, the beginning of Bitcoin's bull cycle, to whenever that happened. It happened 25 months into the cycle, a cycle of which only had, by the way, 3 months left in it, or 1 month left in it after that, technically. 1 month based off of this. I think it had 3 months because I think it was a 28-month cycle. It just looks weird here because of the lines, not the bar chart. But all I'm trying to say is Mana didn't break above its cycle highs until Bitcoin had been 25 months into its cycle, right? Deep in its cycle, literally had less than a half year left of bull cycle left at the very end there. And that's when Mana took off, did its best work. It topped off in November of 2021. Here, Bitcoin topped off. It says October, but that was the closing high, but it actually did top off in November as well. If we look at where we are now, from the low in Bitcoin, the beginning of the bull cycle, to where we are now, it's been 22 months, you guys. 22 months. Is Mana late to the party? 25 months last time, right? This is, this is where we broke above the all-time high. After the beginning of the bull cycle to where we broke above the prior all-time high to Mana, that was 25 months in. Here we are right now, 22 months in. 3 months from now, 25 months, that puts us in January of 2025, okay? January. I believe crypto, not just Mana, but crypto, the whole space as a whole, is about to get eruptively bullish, man. We're about to get explosive here. Things are going to be crazy, okay? I'm not saying that it's going to take until January that Mana starts moving up. Again, right? Mana started moving up well before the 25-month mark, right? That's just when it broke its all-time high. I'm not saying you're going to be at all-time highs by then. You could be. But I'm certainly expecting, we're at 28.5 cents now, I'm certainly expecting that we will have broken out of this zone and seen a standard retracement from this low, this high here to this low here, okay? The whole point, in case you haven't got it, as to why I've given this whole rendition of comparing Mana to Bitcoin, is to just explain, just to detail, that we are not too late. It is not too late, right? We saw these same conditions last cycle, and look at what happened. From a low, that wasn't the low, but from a low to a high, Mana did a 419x. Crazy, bro. Crazy. Okay. I don't think we're going to see that same kind of growth. I personally don't, because also if you look at that for what it is, from the low to the high, that took 20 months. You know, if we take this low here in mind, we put it there, the high would be somewhere in April 2026. I don't think we've got that much time left, okay? So while we're still in that similar time frame in the aspects of breaking out above the all-time high, I don't think we're in the similar time frame of how much we can grow overall, if that makes any sense. I still do think we'll grow. I still do think we'll see new all-time highs. Again, I just don't think we have until April 2026 to do it. I would love it if we did. I'd love it. Man, if I was wrong, you guys, and the crypto bull cycle went until 2026, oh, if it went like to mid 2026 or even just right after Q1, that would be so awesome. I would love that. It's just more time. That would mean that we have more time now to accumulate, more time to plan, just more time in general. More time's always good. But all I'm trying to say, really, without getting too distracted, is that I think we have more than enough time to move. That by January, by that 25th month from when Bitcoin started its bull cycle, right? That's what the measurement was. By January, I would expect, maybe not that like last cycle, it took 25 months that we were above this all-time high. I wouldn't think that in January we're going to be above this all-time high. I would love it if we were. That would be awesome. You guys, if we're above this all-time high and it's January 2025, maybe those $100 price targets can come back on the table, okay? But what I'm truthfully expecting is something probably more closely related to a standard retracement of this move here. Something around $1.85 to $4.20. Now that's a big range, but we're at 28.5 cents right now. When I say $1.85 to $4.20, that is a big range. When I say those numbers, I'm saying that's going to happen by January. by the beginning of the year, but probably by the end of this year, we're going to be at these targets. So while Mana has underperformed, while it's been that coin that makes us all kind of wish we were holding something else, you are holding something else, or you have your eye on something else, and it's pumping, and Mana's just being boring and finding new lows. This has been a disappointing coin. It's going to vindicate you. Okay, it's going to validate you. It's going to give you all the reassurance, all the feelings of validation that you need to confirm that holding throughout this whole time was worth it. Because it will be. It definitely will be. This is not where we're going to stop. It's just a stopping point. But I definitely believe this is going to be our target area where we're going to go. We're at 28.5 cents now, $13.50, $38.50 by the end of the cycle is what I think is going to happen for Mana. None of that's changed, right? The only thing that's changed is the $100 price prediction, right? That has changed because, again, the time frame that we have left in the cycle, I can't make sense out of it, right? Here, you want to know what that would look like, okay, if we were to go to $100, right, in the time frame that I'm expecting? Because I think that Mana will probably top off around when Bitcoin tops off, which would be like in October of 2025. That's my expectation. I haven't changed it for a while. That's what I'm going with, right? $100 there, right? That would mean that we would, this is what we would do, right? When have we, like, kind of, I guess, actually kind of, I was going to say, when have we done this before, but kind of. I mean, it's pretty close, but even still, even then, right, we had more time. That's all I'm trying to say, right? It's been well over the time frame that we would have to allot that kind of prediction to come true. It could come true. Maybe we see the most spectacular rally. Maybe the metaverse Decentraland is the next big thing and all the hype and all the rage this cycle. I don't see it happening. That narrative isn't out there. It doesn't seem like the infrastructure's ready yet, right? Or the user base, like none of that seems there. I just don't see that happening. I accept it as a possibility, but more so what I would expect is that, again, the targets that haven't changed, which are $13.46 to $38, something like this. I will say $85 is still a possible target, the 1886, but again, as time goes on without us moving up, it gets less and less probable. The minimum expected target right now for Mana would be a 46x, okay? 46x by the end of the cycle, by October 2025 is what I'm thinking. The maximum expected target could be 132x, actually. I want to buy some more Mana now, man. Every time I do videos like this, I want to buy more Mana. Let me just do this too, okay? We're going to do this. I've got all of these things on here, okay? I'm going to delete this. I'm going to keep that line there for now. And I'm going to say the earliest that I expect these highs to come in would be April. The latest that I expect would be October, right? If it's April, likely we're not going to hit the high end. If it's October, likely we're not going to hit the low end. We'd hit the high end, right? So does that make sense, right? Like if we end off in April, maybe this is where we end off. If we end off in October, maybe this is where we end off, if that makes sense. I doubt April we'd end off here, but we could. It would just be intense. It'd be very intense. Okay, draw that. I've got that there. I'm going to delete the fib. We're going to delete the crosshair. We're going to delete the thought bubble. Okay. You've got your high here, your high here, your high here. It's not actually even really like in line with these highs, is it? High here to high here. It's not even in line with those highs, right? It's not even in line with the trend. And that's the expected zone. The 1272 to the 1618 from a high to a low right here, right? The 1886, again, I was saying I could expect as a possibility because it comes in line right here. Right around the time frame too that I'm looking for. It comes in line there. It'd be a very intense move, but it would make sense just based on what we've seen on the trajectory so far. Okay, it doesn't have to. Just because this from this line here to this line here, or this point here to this point here, we can make a green line that looks like that, doesn't mean we have to go there. Okay, falling just shy of that, it's common, it happens, and to me it's the expected thing. But there are reasons to go up here, right? Beyond the 1886. That's all I'm trying to say. If we look at Mana's history, we go from this low here to this high. You can see that here the 1886 held the support. You actually tipped it very, very well. Like literally tipped it. Had a massive run from the 1886 all the way up to the 886. 1886, 886, showing support there and resistance there, right? Found a true bottom in the middle of nowhere, but still, okay, 1886, respect. Here, from this low to this high, your true low went to the 1886, right there. Literally right there, man. From a high here, your very first cycle high to the low, You topped off, you guessed it, just above the 1886, right to the 200 level actually, just like that first one, right? But still, right around that 1886 to 200 level. An area that continues to show up in this thing's existence, right? It's something that continues to show up. It makes sense from a high to a high, a line connecting it there. It also is at the 1886 there. Could $85 happen for mana? I don't necessarily believe that it can. I'm just painting a picture that makes sense for that. We saw 400 and something X last cycle. Right? Was it 480 or 418? I forget. 400. 419x. Could we see a 300x this cycle? Right, that's a whole 119 less. It comes in line pretty well. It goes to an area that's expected. All I'm trying to say is if I can make sense out of this, like I'm convincing myself that this is genuinely a possibility. I'll go to bed. I'll wake up tomorrow and be like, yeah, right. It's probably not. It's a possibility. I do think it is a possibility. I don't need much convincing to believe that. But the probability part, I'm talking myself into believing that. But again, I'm saying I'll wake up tomorrow and be like, probably not that probable. But if this is a possibility, just something we're talking about, like the extreme highs, and we can make sense out of that, surely we can make sense out of this 129x target, 133x target, whatever that is. Surely we can make sense out of this 46x target, right? And I do believe mana will see new all-time highs. I don't believe that it's too late for mana to see new all-time highs. I think this accumulation range is actually very bullish. And we're going to see how bullish it is when the time comes. It's October 9th right now. We have a little bit over 2.5 months left in this year. I do think Mana's true colors are going to show, and they're going to be green, and we're going to see it by January. And that's all I got to say. If you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. There's not a whole lot of short-term stuff I need to go over, right? Anything short-term that I would say would just basically be what I'm telling you now. We're waiting. We're waiting for this move. When we get up here, it's going to look like one of two things. Either we consolidate and then break out, or we just tear straight through it, baby. I'm excited to see how it looks either way, and certainly the ride up to the ceiling first is going to be fun enough. I can't wait to see what happens afterwards, right? And then we got a whole nother ceiling to talk about afterwards. That's when things really start to get exciting. I want to buy some more mana. I don't know about you. It's one of the few cryptos right now that's actually at a good price. It's one of the few cryptos in the top 100 that is actually at a good price. There's plenty of them. There's a handful of them, right? I say a few. The majority of them definitely aren't at the most ideal prices to buy, but this is definitely a good one, a solid potential. It has 100x potential. It has even 300x potential, as we just went over, and it's at a low point compared to its range that it's been in for years, okay? And the fact that that's happening normally is a bearish thing. It's not normally a good thing whenever it's going down in a bull cycle. But for mana, we've seen it before. It didn't care. It did a 419x. We're in that same allotted amount of time frame. It makes sense, man. Maybe not to see a 400x, but certainly still to break out above new all-time highs. I'm going to end it there. If you liked the video, you know what to do. If you don't like the video, tell me why. Tell me what I could have done better. Tell me anything that I forgot. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask them. I would love to answer them. And I got nothing else to say. Not to Bell, thank you for requesting this one, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.